Hi everyone, we are back to do our 20th day of Advent, which is for today. I did the 19th video earlier today, just because I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday. But we are back tonight to do our 20th day, which is going to actually be our activity day for the week, to go over some activities we can do to kind of put that most recent candle joy into practice. So we are going to go over those. And kind of just discuss them and talk about them a little bit. For those that haven't been watching the videos or this is your first one that you've seen, we are doing this out of an Advent devotional, Unwrapping the Names of Jesus. And this is what the book looks like. So I have been reading out of this. What we've been doing is just a candle for each Sunday of Advent, like they do in the church. And then for each day of the week that follows, we've been doing a name of Jesus, as well as these activity pages at the end of the week. So we're going to go ahead and go over those, and then we'll just kind of discuss each idea they have a little bit. But it says, Week 3 activities, joy in action. The activities below range from fun-filled family activities to service-oriented projects that you can do with your children or by yourself. Pick one or more activities from the suggested list below to put your joy into action this week. So the first one is go caroling in your neighborhood to bring the joy of Jesus' birth to your surrounding community. You can also visit nursing homes, police and fire stations, hospitals, and homeless shelters. This doesn't have to be long or complicated. Just a few gospel-centered songs on joy-filled lips can make a world of difference in someone's life. I'm gonna be real, I would never do this one. I can't sing, so I'm not gifted with that. You will catch me singing in church on Sundays, and that's about it as far as public singing goes. I cannot sing to save my life. But for somebody that can, or that enjoys doing that kind of thing, that would be an awesome one to go do. And caroling's not something a lot of people do anymore, so it's a cute idea. I would say maybe need to be careful with it, where you go caroling and stuff nowadays, just from traffic and, all the craziness of all the people coming and going and cars and all that. So, I would definitely pick your place that you go do it wisely. But like the nursing homes and in the police stations and stuff, that's a great idea. So very cute. I think my son would really enjoy that. He loves to do the Christmas music. So also kind of another idea with the same concept would be, you could always do like baked goods. You could go hand those out, and it would give you a chance to just kind of talk and witness to these people as you give them the cookies. You could even make the cookies have to do with the Christmas story. You can get special cutouts for that. You could also do like book reading. You could instead of doing like a Christmas carol, we could read the story of Jesus and his birth. So those kind of things, so there's a lot of ways to do that, but I think going out and just making that effort to bring the joy to your community in whatever way you can, it's a really great idea. Okay, the next one is make snow angels outside or use watercolors to paint angels inside. Reflect on the angel's role in the nativity story, declaring the birth of the Prince of Peace. Luke 2:14. That's a cute one. It wouldn't work around here because we don't have snow, or at least around South Carolina. But if somebody else sees this, maybe in Tennessee or North Carolina or something like that, that's a great idea to go make snow angels. They're always fun to do. I know y'all have some snow up that way, so maybe you could do something like that. I do like the idea of using the watercolors to paint angels too, just to give you an inside way to do it, so you don't have to go outside or have to have snow. But that's a really cute idea, because there's definitely so many different ways you could do that. You could do like stained glass style angels. You could do just the regular watercolors. You could do like a pastel thing. You could do finger painting with it. You can do all kinds of things with that. So that's super cute and a good way to talk about the angels and what their role was in the nativity and why they were there. Because there were several angels throughout the story of Jesus leading up to his birth. From the angel that visited Mary, as well as Gabriel, as well as Joseph. Gabriel was the angel, excuse me. But there was him. He visited Mary as well as Joseph. He also visited, technically speaking, he visited first Zacharias to tell him about them having John. So he even shows up a little bit earlier in the story to do with John the Baptist. So you see him there, you see him with Mary, you see him with Joseph, and then a multitude of angels goes and speaks to the shepherds and tells them, or he goes and tells them, do not be afraid, and then the multitude joins him and they sing out. So there's several different places that you see angels in Jesus' story, even continuing after his birth as well. So very cute idea. Ask grandparents about what Christmas was like when they were kids. Share family memories together and consider how the joy of Jesus' birth, the Alpha and Omega, has been a continuous cause for celebration year after year, even though customs and traditions may change. It's a good one. I would say this one we do all the time, honestly, just because there's a lot of family members that we don't have anymore that were here when I was a kid, or when Mama was a kid, my mama. So, my son and my daughter don't get to hear from their grandpa because he passed away. They get to hear from their papa, which is great. So they do have that, but they don't have the granddad, my daddy, granddaddy, to talk to, So I have to be the one responsible to pass on those memories and to tell them about him. And it's such a bittersweet thing because it's like I love doing it. I love talking about my daddy. I love sharing about him and who he was and all the things for people that either briefly knew him or only knew of him, or maybe never even met him, and also the ones that did meet him, because it's awesome to be able to share stories together about him. But it's bittersweet because it does still hurt sometimes. It's been 15 years, but there's still some pain there. Always will be, I'm a daddy's girl, so I'll always miss him. But I am glad I get to share his memories with my son. And the same thing goes for my Aunt Jane. She was the Christmas queen, let me tell you. And I lost her the same year I did my daddy. It's been 15 years as of December 16th. It was 15 years actually for my Aunt Jane. So not only did we lose her, but we lost her very close to her most favorite time of year. So that's another hard one. But the memories are awesome. You want to share them so that the kids can see all the awesome, times and the love that was there in the family, that joined together and loved each other. You want them to know about that and that they have people in heaven that love them and can't wait to meet them. It's so cool to kind of continue certain traditions as well as start your own. Like for us, me and Daddy used to do you get to open one present on Christmas Eve. So that's something we've continued with our kids. So we get one present on Christmas Eve from somebody in the family, and we get to open it early. So that's something I continued with my kids. But something we kind of started new with him was Elf on the Shelf. I never really did Elf on the Shelf. We had one, but we didn't really, mess with it too much. It just was kind of a decoration. So that's been something new that's been fun that I kind of wish my daddy was around for, and my Aunt Jane, because they would both have had the most fun doing something like that. So that's a great example. And one of my cousin Steve-O actually did icicles. I don't know if anybody knows what those are because a lot of people don't use them anymore. And I don't even know, I know they make them still, but I think they're harder to find than they used to be. But back in the day, the thing was to cover your Christmas tree in icicles. And literally it was these stringy, shiny, silver, like tinsel looking things, but it was all loose, and you just threw it on the tree and let it drape down. And Anyway, big huge mess. Would tear your vacuum cleaner all to kingdom come, and it would never work again. But they loved it back in the day, especially my Aunt Jane. That was like one of her favorite things. And this woman, look, she used to buy the most massive tree she could find that would fit in her formal dining room, and that whole thing would be covered to the point where you just about couldn't see the green of the tree. So, my cousin Steve-O remembered that as well, and he got some icicles for his tree to do with my daughter this year. So, those little things, those are memories, and it's awesome to do that with your kids. So that's a really good one, and I think, like I said, that's something we do all the time, not just for this week, but that's like a daily thing for us. So love that. The next one is listen to international Christmas music and dance joyfully in worship to our King. Celebrate the diversity of tribes and languages of all who join together to proclaim the joy of Jesus' birth. Find an international playlist at unwrappingthenames.com. We'll come back to that web address in a moment. It is a pretty cool one. Definitely not what I would have thought of. International Christmas music. I like the idea of that. That would be really cool to check out some of the different music, and maybe even check out some of the different customs and stuff that other people do for Christmas. That's really cool. The next one is cheer when you drive by nativity displays in town, helping you remember the true reason for this Christmas season. You may even write out a note to thank them and place it in their mailbox. Find Christmas cards and more ideas at unwrappingthenames.com. That's a very cute one too, especially to do with the kids, because they always like a reason to yell. So there's your free pass, like, oh, cheer anytime you see the nativities. So that's a really cute one. I do like that. I know for us, anytime we drive by, I always make sure I'm like, oh look, Jax, they have the nativity out. And he's finally getting to that age where he can remember the stuff about the story and everything. So anytime we see one, I kind of ask him random questions, like, do you remember this about the story, or do you remember what the name of the three men that we're looking for were, what did they bring, stuff like that. So that's a really cute one, and I like that a lot. The next one is watch a movie about the nativity of Jesus and ponder which of his names are represented in the film. Then discuss together what stood out to you this year that you may not have noticed before. That's a very interesting one. I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched a nativity movie, which is weird because that's a Christmas movie, so I don't know why that's never been on my list. I've never really thought about that. I don't think I even have like a favorite nativity movie. I remember watching a couple of them when I was a kid, but I don't think I have a favorite movie, which I'm more of a book girl, so I preferred reading, actually reading the story of the Bible and that sort of thing. So maybe that's why. But that's an interesting idea. I might have to look into that and see what nativity movies I can find. That would be really cool. And I like the idea of pondering, which of his names is represented in the film. Because depending on how they film it, you could see maybe some different names, represented. So that's really neat, and helps you be self-aware of the movie as well, or self-aware as you're watching the movie. So you're paying attention, you're actually pulling out the information as well as getting to see a Christmas movie. So that's really cool. The next one is take cookies to your children's ministry leader or Sunday school teacher, thanking them for sharing the bread of life with the children of the church. I love that. Love it, love it, love it. I'm a big food person, especially cooking. Now I don't bake that much, so the cookies might be a little bit of a challenge for me, but food, I can cook anything. And that's one of my love languages is sharing food, because I've always been that person, like, if there's one thing we're not going to do, we're not going hungry around this house. Like, it's just not happening, and that includes anybody that's at my house, friend, family, it doesn't matter. If you're here, you're going to get fed. So I love that. I love the idea of sharing, food, be it, and it doesn't have to be cookies. That's why I said the food thing, because cookies are great. You could also do fudges, bake them a little cake. You could do food, simple stuff that's easy to eat or take home. Bread, you can make fresh bread for them. It's always a great hit. If you have like a bread maker and stuff like that, there's so many ideas that you could do with that. And I love that it's, to thank them for sharing the bread of life with the children at the church. So you can even do personalized notes with it just to let them know that, hey, this is why. We just wanted to let you know how much it means that you're doing this, because it is amazing that they are, because it helps fill in the gaps that we can't, as parents. Because, let's face it, we can't be there 24/7, every day of the week. It's just not a feasible thing to do. Even as a stay-at-home mom, it's difficult, and I'm one of those, and it's difficult to be there for everything, especially when you got more than one, because then you have to, sometimes even pick and choose which one you can go with at the time. And it's a balancing act. And so in the middle of all that, it can be very easy to let maybe slip a little bit on what we should be doing, as far as enriching their spiritual life and teaching them to follow Christ. And it can be easy to do because we have so many other things going on. So the men and women that do that are ministers to our children, and help fill in those gaps, and Sunday school teachers, that help fill in those gaps that, sometimes we miss. We don't even realize that we missed it. And on top of that, to have even more reinforcement of what we are trying to teach them too. There's so many great things about that all the way around. So yes, I love that. Show them a little appreciation for Christmas. I absolutely love that. So that was all of them. Now I know I said to remember unwrappingthenames.com. So I mentioned that one a couple times. That is also part of the bonus content. It says go to unwrappingthenames.com to download a free printable activity sheet and other fun resources to celebrate Advent together with your family. That is one thing I've loved about this book, because they do have a free resource website for you guys. So if you need any help with any of these activities, the one that stood out to you that you're like, I really like that, but I'm not sure where to start, they will most likely have the resources you need. So like it said, for the international one, they have an international playlist listed there. And then it also said you can print Christmas cards from there, like for the to leave the people that you see in Nativity, you can leave them a sweet note in their mailbox thanking them for spreading the word of Jesus. They have cards you can print out on that website to use for that. So it has all kinds of stuff like that. I know it said it had activity sheets on there, and there was a couple of other activities that it had, like the printouts to help with that specific activity, like lists and different things you could do. So it's a really great resource to go with this study. It's really awesome to have it. So I just wanted to make sure y'all knew about it, in case you do need any help or just want to check it out, So that's unwrappingthenames.com, all lowercase, no spaces. And it'll take you to that resource. All right, y'all. Well, we're going to close out for tonight. I hope these have been some really cute and fun ideas for you to be able to practice your joy this week, and to kind of, do those check-ins and practice, what we're learning. So I hope those have given you some great ideas. And like I said, don't feel like you have to adhere to just these ideas. If you have any other ones that, maybe were inspired by what I read, or, a spin-off of what I read, that's okay too. The point is to spread that joy. So however you can do that, whether it's the food or, something you come up with completely on your own. Either way, the point is to spread the joy. So, I encourage you to do those, whatever ones you pick, even if it's just, one, or if you want to do all of them, whatever it is. I encourage you to do that, and I hope that that's helped give you those ideas. And I hope that y'all are all having a wonderful evening and a wonderful Christmas. And we will be back tomorrow. It is our next candle, which is love. So that's a really good one, and I'm looking forward to doing that with y'all. So I will see you back here tomorrow to light our new candle. I hope y'all have a wonderful evening and a Merry Christmas.